Hey, this is Matt on CPM's YouTube channel, and let's talk about roommates. So for roommates, you really have two options. You can all apply at the beginning, or you can add a roommate later on. Typically, it's easier to have everyone apply at the beginning. Everyone needs to pay a $40 application fee separately, bring proper documentation, and qualify for the unit. You can have roommates up to the limit of the law, and that law is ORS 90.262, which I'll state in the full text here, but basically it's no more than 2 persons per bedroom. Bedroom is a place with a door. That's a living space. It's not a kitchen or a closet. Don't shove anyone in a pod. But essentially, that's your limitation. If you need to add a roommate later, this law still applies. For adding a roommate, they will need to pay an application fee, bring in their documents, and qualify for the residence. They will also need to bring in $200 additional deposit for said roommate. Now, this deposit is added to your total deposit and is not sent out until everyone leaves the residence. So, to clarify all of those expectations, it's essential that you sign a roommate agreement with everyone you're going to be living with. This roommate agreement wouldn't supersede the rental agreement that you're signing with us, but it's essential to clarify your expectations and help manage and avoid conflict. You can write up who's paying what for deposit, who's paying what rent, what are the rules in the common areas, and how are you going to deal with a conflict should it come up. Really, really important to have. I'll include a few links to some good ones down below, but really the essential thing is your input. Now, if your roommate has a pet, this can sort of complicate things in that it'll change the deposit amount, both if you're adding them later or up front. The pet deposit ranges depending on the size of the pet and what said owner wants with their property. Some owners, it'll also change the monthly rent, so you'll need to factor that in as well. It's really important to financially plan around all these things when bringing other people into your residence. Now, for the pet information, it's going to vary depending on each property. So reach out to us, we'll give you the proper information and go from there. Living with roommates, the most common difficulty we see is in the deposit check. So your deposit doesn't go out until everyone leaves the residence, and it will have everyone's name on it unless we've received roommate 30-day notices that someone has moved out earlier. Who gets what portion of it is entirely up to you, and it's essential to create a financial plan and a roommate agreement to really clarify what's going to happen and when. If you have any disputes with your roommates or you're having any trouble, it's always important to touch base with us. We're more than happy to try and help and offer any assistance, but just keep in mind that we have to follow equal and fair housing standards. Living with roommates can be a really great experience, and we want to make sure that happens, but we have to still treat the residents as a whole. So keep that in mind, create a plan, create a roommate agreement, and you're on the right track to success.